Welcome to my take. A new White House report puts a price tag on DEI, and it's not small. The 2026 White House Economic Report, released this week, says diversity, equity, and inclusion policies are costing the U.S. economy $94 billion every single year. For a household with 2 working adults, that's about $1,160 out of your pocket annually. The report, commissioned by President Trump and released by the White House Council of Economic Advisors, is blunt. DEI has led to, quote, inefficient management, raising the costs of doing business. Companies practicing DEI, it says, hire fewer people and pay workers less. The numbers go further. Between 2016 and 2023, the share of minorities in management positions quadrupled, not because of performance, but because of mandates. And industries that adopted DEI protocols during that same period were 2.7% less productive than those that didn't. Less output, higher costs, passed on to you. This didn't happen overnight. In 1964, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, outlawing discrimination based on race, color, gender, religion, or national origin. For decades, that was the standard. Hire on merit. Treat people equally under the law. Then, about 10 years ago, corporate America started rewriting the rules, replacing equal opportunity with engineered outcomes. President Biden accelerated it. He signed executive orders embedding DEI into the military, federal agencies, and departments across the government. Agencies were required to submit what were called equity action plans. A new class of diversity officers was created. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen stood up an equity hub and an advisory committee on racial equality, spending millions on DEI consultants and redirecting billions in federal funding to, quote, benefit specific racial groups. By 2022, the number of DEI-related jobs had quadrupled from 2017. DEI was everywhere in earnings calls, in hiring decisions, and promotions. In January 2025, President Trump signed a series of executive orders ending it. The public release of these plans demonstrated immense public waste and shameful discrimination. That ends today, he wrote. Americans deserve a government committed to serving every person with equal dignity and respect. At a joint session of Congress in March 2025, he put it plainly. Whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Here's the truth. DEI was never just an American phenomenon. It spread across the Western world on the same premise that group identity should outrank individual merit. Rebranding discrimination doesn't make it just. Think about it this way. When you're on the operating table, you want the most skilled surgeon in the room, not the most diverse one. When you're on a plane, you want the most qualified pilot at the controls. In any field where performance has real consequences, lowering standards doesn't lift people up. It puts everyone at risk. The real engine behind DEI was never fairness. It was guilt, institutionalized, weaponized, and enforced as policy. It didn't empower the groups it claimed to champion. It patronized them while punishing those who earned their place on merit. The Biden years were the experiment. The results are in. Productivity down, cost up, divisions wider than ever. Trump's rollback isn't a step backward. It's a return to the standard that was always right, equal dignity under the law, and merit as the only measure that matters. I'm Laura Tang. That's my take for today. See you tomorrow.